Hello everyone, I've decided to record a setup for PoB for CoC DD Inquisitor. I will go slowly step by step just so you guys can copy it, because I have heard a lot of people having issues with importing their character and the numbers not matching the reality. And I probably should have done this about a week ago, but it's better to do it now than never. So let's get into it. We start by importing our character. Type your account name there, select the character from Necropolis League, import both passive tree, items and skills. If you are not on Lancing Steel Spraying here, just switch to it. And then click Lancing Steel Spraying, all projectiles hit. This is very important, otherwise our trigger rate is gonna be incorrect. Then you go to Detonated of Chain Reaction, and you click Corpse Explosion. This is also important, otherwise Corpse Life is not gonna show in the config. Then you go to skills. If you have Val Haste enabled, you should disable it and enable normal haste. Same if you have other Val skills like Val Grace, Val Molten Shell, or whatever. You can also disable normal Molten Shell if you want to check max hit instead of EHP, but I recommend keeping it on unless you are checking for exactly Ubers. And then you click include in full DPS. You click Lancing Seal to 0. You click Desecrate to 0. And you click Detonated of Chain Reaction to either 5 if you don't have the Arcanist brand setup, or 6 if you do have it. Again, I only use the Arcanist brand setup for actual Pinnacle bosses and Uber bosses. Most PoBs that you will see for DD are gonna be 6, so probably use that just so you can compare it easier. Now we go to config. We select is enemy boss, it's a Guardian slash Pinnacle boss. Enemy Corpse Life, we set this to 70,000. Even though it might be higher now, but it's just better to set it to 70,000 since that is going to be the most accurate way to compare builds between each other, as most people are using 70,000 from before the league started. And honestly, it might have been a little overstated before the league started, who knows, but right now 70,000 seems about accurate. Then enable power charges if you have Assassin's Mark quality, which you absolutely should. Enable frenzy charges if you have this mastery for mark enemies giving you frenzy on hit. Then enable endurance charges if you are using enduring cry, or when you are clearing if you are using the red dream jewel. But I personally use enduring cry at all times, so I enable them here. You don't have to enable onslaught here, we will solve that in Flasks later. Adrenaline if you use death rush for mapping, but I don't want to have adrenaline enabled here for the showcase of this. Let's say we are showcasing it for bossing, so let's not enable that. Are you on consecrated ground? Of course we are. We are always on consecrated ground. We are Inquisitor. If you chilled, ignited, and shocked an enemy. So I will wait with this one first. So let's talk about whether enemy is shocked or not first. So if you have 3 dragons, only do shock and only do 30 here. If you have Yoke of Suffering, not only you do shock, but you also do ignite and burning. And we have ignited and shocked recently. We also consumed the corpse recently. This is just always there because casting detonate that counts as consuming a corpse. Then if you have tattoos for bleed chance and poison chance, which you should have absolutely if you are using yoke, you should also enable bleed and poison. I also have blind, even though this is not that important. This doesn't actually increase your damage, but it still reduces enemy accuracy, so I will enable blind as well for myself. That's only if you have blind tattoo, if you have extra dex to put that on. And then when it comes to chill, this is something people often miss. To chill, you need this chill mastery or this cold mastery from Glacial Cage. So what you want to do is get any flat cold damage anywhere. I have it on my weapon, but you could also have it on your gloves as Searing Exile implicit. Instead of the damage per frenzy charge, there's like damage to attacks. This could also be damage to spells if you use like a Hypnotic Eye Jewel or something, but any cold damage to attacks or spell works. So if we have that, we can take enemy is chilled. And let's use Seconds of Chill on enemy 10 for the full effect of Glacial Cage, pretending we are fighting a boss. So let's put that to 10. Enemy covered in ash, this doesn't actually matter, as this gets enabled by igniting the enemy here from our Polaric Devastation. Just make sure your Polaric Devastation is always in the left slot, otherwise it's not gonna work. I've seen some people mess it up, so just be careful about it, please. And then after that, it's pretty much done. This should be all your conditionals, except Flasks. So here, what I usually do for bossing is I use a Surgeon's Flask for Diamond, and I also use a Surgeon's Flask for Silver Flask, but I don't have it on me because for mapping I have Onslaught on kill, so I didn't need it for mapping. But for bossing, I use Surgeons on Silver Flask as well. So let's put that on. Those flasks actually have pretty good uptime. Just be careful, you don't want to have it on every flask. 2 flasks is about the limit that I found, because the gaining the charge actually shares cooldown between the flasks. So generally you want to have it on 1 or 2 flasks. If you are gonna walk over the boss, you can also enable Brittle Ground. This is just extra damage. I actually find that this is sort of reasonable, at least in the way I play, so I feel like I would take it on when I play, at least for real bosses. And then it's enemy on Consecrated Ground. If you have Brittle Ground, I mean, it's gonna be on Consecrated Ground as well. Actually, I would argue that Consecrated Ground is easier to get. I hope this helped everyone to set up their PoB. If you have any other questions, let me know. But this is how you should do it. And if you find this useful, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. It helps to grow the channel a lot, and I will see you guys next time. Bye everyone, thanks for watching.